Okay, welcome everyone who are watching live. More power to you. It is 11:03, January 22nd, calling this school board meeting to order. And I will begin by reading our mission statement, because I think it's pretty relevant at this point in time. The Newmarket School District is committed to the highest standards of quality education. We ensure a safe and successful learning community. We embrace diversity and respond to the social, emotional, intellectual, and physical needs of every child. We strive to work with the broader community to ensure that students develop lifelong skills, enabling them to be contributing and productive members of society. So, Chet Jablonski is unable to be here in person this evening, and as we recently did with Meg, she now gets to see it from this side. So the question to those who are in the room is, do we agree to allow Chet Jablonski to participate in this meeting?
You're supposed to do it by roll call.
Okay.
So be it.
Cliff Chase.
Aye.
Linda Montagani.
Aye.
Kelly Foster.
Aye.
Meg Looney Moore.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and Chet, can you tell us if there are others with you?
Yes, I agree. My wife, Lorraine.
Okay, good evening, Lorraine. Thanks for letting Chet stay up. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit punchy given the hour. So we have some potential business to take care of with regard to response to the Budget Committee meeting that just ended. Specifically, there were some articles that they did not support, and did make some commentary regarding, and there might be some other action that we might consider taking. So I guess I don't see any reason why not just to take them in order, starting with the budget, which is where the Budget Committee left off. So the option that we have regarding the Article 1, which is the operating budget for FY 13-14, is to vote our support, or lack thereof, for the amended number, which is $70,000 less than what is printed in the draft.
The final number is $15,553,567. 15,553,567.
So, process-wise, I guess I would like to entertain a motion regarding that figure.
Regarding Article 1.
Regarding Article 1.
Recommendation
Yeah.
for Article 1.
So if you are not in support of that, that doesn't mean that you can't offer a motion, but you're not obliged to vote in favor of it if you offer the motion, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which is kind of awkward, not knowing everyone's feelings on it, but then we would record a recommendation or not, and have a vote, have a tally to include in the documentation.
So we can make a motion to not accept the proposed $7,000 reduction.
Or to not recommend
Not recommend.
the budget as presented.
Not recommend Article 1 as presented by the budget.
Right.
Okay,
You could do that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Usually you frame motions in
In the
the
positive.
positive,
Okay.
and then if you don't like it, you vote against it.
All right.
It's usually the way you go out.
However awkward it may, in both ways, you might find it awkward.
Linda, you're the pro, so.
I will make a motion to recommend Article 1 as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Any discussion? Chad, I can't see you waving your arms or Otherwise, do you have anything to say regarding Article 1 amended number?
So the motion is to the fact that you're not going to recommend the $70,000 cut.
Yeah, if I voted in opposition to this, the message that would send, I believe, is that you were uncomfortable with that reduction in the budget.
I got it.
Linda?
So I'll just say again that, that this reduction will mean a cut in personnel. There's no way around that. And I can't support that. And, you know, if you think about it, if this passed as the Budget Committee presented it, and Article 3 passes as well, we're actually worse off because because then we have no recourse at all. We have no going back to the drawing board. So I strongly recommend that we as a board do not vote no to the recommendation and allow the community to decide, and maybe a deliberative session, you know, whatever they decide to do and whatever their vote is. But I don't think we should. I don't think we should recommend.
I'm in agreement with Linda as well. I think I think it was Drew that alluded to that meeting where we cut those 5.5 positions. I think we did some really difficult work in arriving at the number that we presented to them. And we heard a lot about them saying that we needed some kind of, what was the word? Incentive. And $70,000 I think we have plenty of an incentive. We know what this town faces, and to imply that we don't and we're just going off half-cocked is kind of insulting. So I would not support to reduce it by $70,000 either.
Anything to add?
Yes, I will not support this. Absolutely not. The last 2 years, we've reduced positions, this year being quite substantial, 5.5 positions. It's interesting when you're in the audience listening to some of the comments where it was the majority of them being more concerned about the taxpayers than the students. And the school budget is about the students and the impact to them and their education. And all taxpayers should be very concerned about the quality of education, or the lack of, if we don't have the proper personnel in place. I applaud the taxpayers that have supported us in the past, and I hope they will continue to do so.
Thanks. Chet, do you have anything you want to add to what's already been said?
Yes, I would vote for the original budget.
Okay.
Clarify.
Which
Voting
means
no on this.
that you would be voting in opposition to the motion. Is that clear from where you are?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just have one thing I'd like to add, and is that I think the school district administration operating, with the school board has done a commendable job in returning funds to the taxpayer whenever that's possible. The school district takes very seriously their responsibility to the taxpayer, and with, I hate to cite the example of the elevator that we didn't install years ago. We went through great pains to make sure that that those monies returned to the taxpayer, even though they were not framed as a special warrant article. And I think since before then and since, we've done a terrific job of doing that. So if, in some of the scenarios, some budget committee members had in mind that we'd have found money or something, we will do our best, as we have in the past, to make sure that that just doesn't get absorbed. Last comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, it's late. I'm sorry, I forgot. Wasn't the motion in the positive?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
but
is.
that was accepting the budget committee's.
Oh,
proposal.
okay, my bad.
Sorry,
See, it's late.
Dr.
Okay.
Let's start over, I'm sorry.
For in clarity, all those in favor of the motion to accept the budget committee's
Okay, thank you.
number, signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay?
Nay?
Hey.
Nay.
Nay.
You're on a little bit of a delay there, Chet.
He's watching on
Okay.
TV.
Motion fails unanimously, 0-5. Okay, other things to consider from my perspective, and we can just go in order, and if anyone has anything else that they'd like to discuss, please chime in. Article 2, which is regarding the dual-purpose fund, if you will, monies. The Budget Committee's vote was 5-5, which is a tie, but technically that is a failure to support. They did discuss the fact that they would be happier with a smaller number. Given the groupings of tasks, and some of that was for, my understanding is the economies of if you've got certain trades in the building and with certain areas being impacted, it made sense to bundle certain activities together. And we don't want to be embarking on a phase of work that will continue into, should we have to go there, into the school year beyond September 2015. You know, if there's a summer project that is really a summer and a little bit of the fall project, we got to have that done before that date. So I am, my opinion is that we should leave Article 2 as written without any monetary changes, but I'm certainly willing to entertain them if others feel differently.
No, I would actually like to make a motion to accept Article 2 as presented.
We already did that.
Oh.
We
It's
did?
only if you want to change the number.
See, where am I? All right,
okay.
It's
so we don't, then why, so we're just
So,
talking about stuff?
right. We have the opportunity tonight
I
to change
see.
that number,
I thought we had to go through all
which
of
would
them
then.
again. My bad.
Okay. So then process-wise,
No, I get it.
should we change a number? That would be something that the Budget Committee would entertain as part of the continuance of their meeting tomorrow
Okay.
night at 7.
I'm sorry. I just thought we had to go through them all again, so.
Nope.
All right, that makes it easier.
So just to reiterate, I think what the Budget Committee was proposing was that we possibly amend our dollar amount to, and I think what they were looking at was,
Swapping the two.
actually, I think toward the end, what they said was if we combine, if we divide it and add the two, divide it in half, do half 1 year, half the next year. So, somewhere around 525 each year. So, I guess, I would like to hear from Jim. Do you think does that hamper our ability to do things that we may possibly need to do, or do you think that we could hobble along if we were to meet in the middle?
It's really hard for me to say. I know how, it would require the architect to take a look at projects and whatever, but I know how we chunked them out over the years, and it was to take higher priorities earlier and to deal with concentrated locations in the building so as not to impact a wider area. So there was a logic to this. It wasn't just about how we apportioned money, it was how we apportioned projects, and then what did they cost. So I can't really answer that, but I know, again, it was a thoughtful plan, not just
Yeah.
how much money do you think we can
Right.
afford in a year or two.
So, given that, I feel like we need to leave it as it is.
I think, obviously, there was a reason, like you said, that all of these amounts were, that you came to. And if you were to split them and make it like a 500,000 something in both years, to me, it would seem that you'd have more to have to do in 2014 and 15, which is pushing too close to that deadline, and you don't know if you'll actually be able to finish it by then. That's how I feel. It made more sense to have the least amount of stuff to do in the last year to kind of like just finish up a few last things
That's accurate.
and do the bulk of it in the middle years, so.
That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, sorry.
No, thank you. You're helping.
And
clarify.
also, I mean, we've really negotiated quite a bit with the fire marshal and
Yeah.
the state representatives.
Good point.
And I really feel that if we were not to move forward with this amount of money, that's remiss on our part, that we're not taking this seriously. And then also a comment that one of the budget committee members made that I support is that this fund that we're using was a recommendation from the budget committee, the dual purpose fund. So having that flexibility, so if we don't use it all for fire and life safety, we still have monies available for other purposes relevant to our facilities needs. So I think in order to support the budget committee's recommendation as well, I would like to keep the money intact.
Chet, do you have any thoughts?
I personally, I like to leave it as it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then we'll move along.
Okay.
Article 3, I don't think there's any opportunity there to discuss at this point in time, nor Article 4. Articles 5, 6, 7, and 8 were talked about in a group, and I think similarly we can discuss them in a group. Articles 5 and 8 were not supported by a vote of 1 to 9. Articles 6 and 7 were supported unanimously. And one budget committee member stated that, and I think there was general agreement that we don't change the portioning so that the total that would be reserved, should we have a balance. I feel like we burned too many minutes of collective meeting time on talking about all of these 4 warrant articles, because we're talking about nickels and dimes here, really. $50,000 is real money, but it's not a huge thing when you compare it to the total tax burden. Anyway, does anyone have any thoughts on whether so we could do one of 3 things. We could do nothing. We could take the recommendation to strike Article 5 and 8, potentially. We could also, as a third choice, strike Article 5 and 8 and adjust the percentages up so that we bring the total up to the $200,000 of surplus that was originally the number that was the total from the draft of the warrant. Anyone have any ideas on that?
Well, I will say that one of the things that was mentioned is the 200,000 number, that we may, if there were a $200,000 surplus, that they were saying the hope would be that half of it would go back to reduce the taxes, and then the other half would go into these reserves. So if we were to do anything, I would say it would be to strike 5 and 8 and keep the percentages the same.
I would agree. I mean, I think I originally didn't really want to do the expansion of school facilities fund anyway, so that one doesn't really break my heart, because I do think we are asking for money for fire and life safety in another warrant article, so I think that is completely fine. So yeah, I would agree with striking 5 and 8 and leaving the amounts the way that they are.
Meg, do you have any thoughts on that?
I would disagree. I think, we've had these conversations before, but I think we have such huge facilities needs. And who knows with the school repairs, what we're gonna find if we need to, unanticipated repairs for the schools. And just knowing that our surplus, if anything, will be minimal. I just think the warrant articles are needed.
Chet, do you have any thoughts on these ideas?
I agree with Meg. I think that the amount of money that's going to be left over is going to be very minute, and I personally would like to see it just as it is.
Thank you. The risk I see in removing them is that we would be sending a message that those are no longer important. You know, our maintenance issues aren't significant anymore, as an example. But I can appreciate the removing them from a standpoint of simplifying the warrant further. So if someone wants to make a motion to strike either or both of Articles 5 and 8, this is the time to do it.
Do I have to do them individually, or can I do them
I
together?
think it's cleaner to do them individually.
So make a motion to remove Article 5 from the warrant.
Is there a second?
Oh, well, I'll second that.
Further discussion. The expansion of school facilities capital reserve is arguably very similar in mission, I guess, if that's the right word, as Article 2. It's a similar thing where it's contributing to the long-term fix of our school facilities problems, although it's expansion of school facilities. It's not, we couldn't use it for the fire and life safety piece, arguably. This article has been around since 1962, I think. Originally, as all of these, I think, were by a recommendation by a budget committee back a few years ago. Further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to strike Article 5 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion fails. 2 to 3. Okay, do you want to make a motion regarding Article 8?
Sure. I'll make a motion to remove Article 8 from the warrant.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Reluctantly, Linda seconds. I'll make the same comment I made almost as I did to the last motion, which is this is really similar in theme to Article 2, except that it is arguably usable for the same purposes. Would you agree? And one question I didn't ask on Article 5, I'll call that water of the dam over at this point, but could you remind me by chance of how much money is in that fund? Do you have those numbers handy?
Oh, it's right here. Which one is it? The
You.
expansion, is it expansion school
Repair
facilities?
and maintenance.
Repairs and maintenance. $107,747.
107,000 round numbers. As much as, well, I worry about that boiler, and that's really hasn't been on the table with any of these discussions. talk to my,
That's the only boiler we have.
right, to clarify Chet's comment, there's no redundancy in that building. Like in the elementary school, there are two boilers that sit side by side, and I think both are required to heat the building, particularly on a day like tomorrow. But if one of them were to fail, the building doesn't go ice cold. It's still a safe place to have kids. Not so in the junior, senior high school. There's just one locomotive-sized boiler that is from the steam age, if you will. Sorry, it's getting late and I'm going.
Two other things, too, I would want to say relative to that account that are so new they wouldn't be in the budget. But at one point in the budget process, you asked me to work with the school administration to look at the elementary school. You know, we've given so much attention, other than the sprinkler system and so forth, but to take a look and see if there might be some improvements there, and we're still looking at that. And so anything that we identify that you support likely would come out of this fund. The other thing is, in the aftermath of the Newtown, Connecticut discussions, we talked about increased measures we could do to increase security in our schools, and we had some ideas around the elementary, and so we're still looking at that and getting prices. But again, if that's something you supported, this would be the place to lean on for money.
Yes, Jim, and you know, back a couple of meetings, I brought that out. The fact is not to forget the elementary school.
Yep.
There's a lot that has to be done there, and we can't just let it go as we have in the past.
Yep. No, and I agree. I didn't lose sight of that, and we're just still putting proposals together.
Okay, any other comments?
Just a reminder to put the no tax impact.
Yep, I wrote that.
Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to strike Article 8 from the warrant signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion fails, 1 to 4. Chet, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I said nay, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, Article 9, similar to Article 2, failed with a vote of 5 to 5 from the Budget Committee, and there was some discussion there that they, I think many were in support of the concept, but they would prefer a smaller impact to the taxpayer by changing the dollar value. So if someone thought that would be something to consider, I know I wrote down a number of 25,000 that that might be palatable.
I'll make a motion to change the dollar figure for Article 9 to 25,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Meg. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to adjust the dollar value of Article 9 to $25,000 signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Nay.
Okay, motion carries with a vote of 3 to 2. Okay, Article 11 was supported, as well as Article 12 unanimously. Okay, I don't think that there is any other business. Is there?
No, I don't believe there is, because now, by changing Article 9, the Budget Committee now has to revisit that and make another recommendation, so that carries over to tomorrow night. Up until then, everything else was really not for them. But so what I need to do is clean this up according to what you did, but then tomorrow night, they vote on Article 9, so then I plug in their recommendation, and only then can you
Sign them.
sign it.
So we have to meet again
Okay.
tomorrow night, is what you're saying?
We don't have to have a meeting tomorrow night, I don't believe. You already made a change and taken your position on that, right? Because it's recommended by the school board 3-2. And
Just need our signatures for
and then
the,
I just need your
On the form.
signatures after tomorrow night, so.
so if people could come in
Thursday.
Thursday morning to
Yeah,
sign.
I think
that work?
sometime Thursday, right?
And I'm sure we could find a way to,
Oh.
Chet, to bring the
We'll stop
copy
over
over.
and say hello, yes. Yeah, so it just has to be posted by the 28th, but sooner the better. So, yeah, if you come in on Thursday and get it signed, that'd be great.
Okay. All right, is there further business? All right, hearing
Motion to
none.
adjourn.
Second?
Motion to adjourn,
Hate to look at
in
the clock.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, Chet, and have a good evening. Hopefully you're feeling better.
Feel better. Feel better.